The only thing you'll need to remember is one thing. There'll be many things when we start the presentation, but the one thing you only need to remember right now about the meetup is the first Monday of every month. First Monday of every month is when we're going to do it. And we've got some really exciting speakers that are going to be lined up, which I'll talk to you a little bit more about at the end. Alright, so enough of that. So let's get stuck into what we're all here to learn about today, which is how to boost your website's conversion rate and the top tactics and abilities and tricks and everything that you want to say it can be to achieve that. So I'm going to start off with a little stat that I found, which was the majority of companies out there, or if you're in business, then you can turn that road around into your competitors, they spend less than 5% of the total marketing budget on conversion optimization activities. So just think about that for a second. And I've noticed from personal experience, operating in the space, working with lots of brands, lots of marketing budgets over the years, that so few people that are, or so few people or companies are not thinking about, okay, you get people to the website, great, and let's just get more and more and more and more and more, and then we'll be able to grow. Yeah, easy, right? Not that easy. Because when it comes to getting people to a website, which admittedly is fairly easy to do in today's day and age, getting them to actually convert or take an action or do something, whether it be opt in, subscribe, buy something, that's quite challenging. And very few marketing managers or very few businesses actually look at conversion rate optimization. And so what we're going to dive into deep today. So a little bit about me. I started building sites maybe about 10 years ago now. Feels like yesterday. And I started a WordPress and digital marketing agency called Web3 back in 2012, which I've been running full-time practically ever since then. Now, over the years, I've had a really great opportunity to work with businesses all the way from your solo entrepreneurs, all the way up to government, international multi-billion-dollar organizations, and anything in between. And as we continue to grow and evolve, we're always looking about and always constantly testing and refining how can we really make what we're doing, our products, our sites, and everything else really work from a conversions point of view. So a lot of the stuff that I know firsthand doing this on a daily basis, I want to be able to share and give you some examples today. Now, let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got a website that is not converting any leads, any sales, nothing, then it's a huge liability to your company. You've got hosting, you've got all the development costs and everything. If it's not actually returning an investment, if it's not actually returning profit to your business, then it's a liability. Now, the thing is that you really want your website to work as an asset. If you want it to work as a true asset, work for you, rather than you trying to do work for it and it's doing nothing back in return, you want to be making sure it's generating as much profits for your business as possible. Now, in this meetup, I really wanted to distill it down into three key areas, which is when you should start optimizing your website for conversions, when's the right time to start looking at it or thinking about it, how to set up and measure your website's conversion rate, and also user experience and user interface tips and tricks that you can deploy, and I'll show you how to do it, into your own site to make sure it's set up to convert as many customers, leads, and sales as possible. Before I dive forward, ladies and gentlemen, who here has their own business? Most of us in the room. Excellent. Good, good, good. So I'm going to make sure that this is geared towards people that are running their own business as possible. In terms of, put your hand up if you'd identify your business as a startup or in the startup stage. Most of us. Great. Okay, so startup stage, I feel like I'm still there, even though we've been going for a little while. We've got to make sure, obviously, that what we're doing, what we're outputting with the time, with limited resources, getting as much return as possible for the least amount of cost. So I'm going to show you how you can do this stuff for free without really needing to code at all that anyone can implement. All right, so let's just say you're in the right place. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. So, one thing, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to just keep the phones at bay. In terms of taking notes, I see we've already got some lovely tent members at the back taking notes. That's great, but I've actually already written this out in detail, much greater detail than what I'll go into tonight. It's actually online on my blog, so wordpress.com.au/increase website conversion rate guide. So you'll be able to find this. It's being recorded right now, and much more tips and tactics that I'll go into on the site. So yeah, feel free to just take it easy, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. So where do I start? Now, conversion rate optimization, or increasing your website's ability to convert, is a huge topic. There's so many ways that you could go about it and start, and it's very confusing initially. Where's the first place to begin? So when I always work with clients, I always ask them, well, is anyone coming to your website in the first place? Because when you think about it, if you're spending a lot of time, efforts, energy, and resources to increase its ability to convert, and no one, or next to no one, is going to the website in the first place, then what's the point, right? It's a waste of time. Now, fortunately, in 2017, it's very easy to walk down the yellow brick road to our lovely friends at Google and Facebook and literally buy traffic to get to your website. No one should have a traffic problem. You can go out and make these people even more richer by buying traffic to their website. And if anything, these guys are extremely well optimized at getting you to spend money to get people to your site. The thing is, though, when it comes to actually knowing if the traffic is good or relevant or not, there's many different ways that you can approach it, but generally what we recommend is, just a quick show of hands before I barrel on, who here has got Google Analytics set up on their site? Practically everyone, excellent. Well, I won't delve into it too much, but if you really do, then you can, by going into the acquisitions tab and going into the channels, traffic and channels section, you can actually see through Google Analytics where your traffic is coming from. A lot of times, particularly if you're on dodgy hosting, you'll find that you'll think, oh great, I've got like 1,000 or 5,000 people coming to my site, and actually look at analytics and 90% of it is spam or like robots. So if that is the case, then you've got a traffic problem. But again, you can check in your analytics to make sure that the traffic is coming through. You've actually got traffic, and it's real traffic. It's not robots or things from Russia, whatever you want to call them. However, if you've got no website, if you're wanting to get started or create one, or even potentially considering a redesign, it certainly helps to approach it with knowledge and understanding on how to lay out, how to set out, what are the things, what are the elements that need to be on a website that converts well, and that's what we're going to get into. So, either if you've got a new one or it's been up and running for a couple of years, the very first thing, this is so critical, and it's not sexy, it's not exciting, it's not like, yeah, colors, it's boring. I mean, you got to make sure that you've got the framework, the measurement tools in place to track your website's ability to convert. There's a saying that goes, if you can't you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And you can debate that one from a business point of view, but it's certainly not debatable when it comes to conversion rate optimization or optimizing your site's ability to convert more. So that way, when you're making tweaks and adjustments, hopefully I can give you some ideas that you can take away and implement tonight. When you go ahead and do this, if you're actually measuring the site's conversion rate prior, you'll know if it's actually improving it. Because conversion rate or making your site convert more is certainly not linear. You can actually do things, or do so-called best practices or tips that gurus might throw at you, and it will actually hurt. It'll actually send your website's conversion rate down, even though everyone's saying that it should go up. And I'll give you some examples of that later on. Again, the only source of truth is you've got to make sure that, as I mentioned, there's no step-by-step, there's no magic bullets, or like, I will show you 3 steps and your website will then double its conversion rate tomorrow. If anyone's telling you that, they're more than likely lying. So again, question everything and be sure that you've got the source of truth or your own measurement framework in place to actually see for yourself if it's truly improving your business or not. The key, ladies and gentlemen, is to test and measure everything. When it comes to marketing, when it comes to websites, when it comes to conversions, the rule remains the same. How? Well, again, we recommend Google Analytics. The reason why, everyone's already got it. It's free, it's easy. There's many different ways you can do it. But essentially, what platform you're building on, it's as simple as, look, I won't spend much time here considering most people have already got it. You can just go and get your tracking code, or you chuck in your UA code. For WordPress, the Google Analytics Monster Insights plugin, I believe is what it's called, is the one we recommend. The reason being is you can actually tell it to not count your IP or when you're logged into the WordPress admin. So if you're logged into the WordPress admin, you're usually a developer or the site owner, and then it won't count those hits or those actions towards your analytics profile. So you get a much truer sense of traffic and conversions in your site. And it's very easy, like you literally drop in the UA code and you just put the checkbox. So simple. Anyway, you're thinking, okay, great, let's do it. But see, the thing is that really having Google Analytics in place, you're only tracking the traffic coming in and where the traffic's coming from. It's not tracking conversions. You've got to do a little bit of work to get it to track conversions. So out of the box, as I mentioned, it's good at tracking traffic, but you've got to do a little bit of work to get the conversion rate tracking going. And really, it's quite simple, which is a good thing. And you don't have to pay anything to do it or anyone. So all you've got to do is making sure that you know what a conversion is. Like a conversion is a very loose term. Like what's a conversion? And everyone at every different business will have their own type or what they would call a conversion. It might be a contact form inquiry. It might be a phone call. It might be both. It might be an actual sale if you're running an e-commerce store. It might be a checkout action. It might be an email subscribe if you're doing like email list style nurturing. Get clear on what is it that's a conversion for your business. Write it out. A little hack, if you're running a business that has a lot of inbound phone inquiries out of anything, then you can use tools like call tracking metrics and actually do things. This is like an advanced thing, but it will load what's called a dynamic phone number on your search description in Google and on your website. And when someone actually calls that number, it will then go back to your Google Analytics account and count it as a conversion. And it will then route it to your actual landline or 1800 number or whatever it is. So yes, you can track actual real phone calls using Google Analytics and goal tracking using software like call tracking metrics. Now, the easiest and most reliable way to count a conversion or track a conversion is, okay, let's give the example of I'm now inquiring into a service business. I fill out the contact form, then I hit send. Now, after that contact form inquiry has happened, the user gets sent to a thank you page. Real simple, right? And being able to count, so, okay, I've completed the contact form. I'm now going to a thank you page or a dedicated URL for that thank you page. That action from going there to there is then counted as one conversion. You can get a little bit more fancy with like JavaScript tracking and UA and like button tracking and all that sort of stuff, but it's not as reliable as the good old just simply going from one page to another and counting that as a conversion. The easiest and most reliable way, sorry, my mistake, let me backtrack. And it's quite simple if you're using something like WordPress, for example, contact form 7 or gravity forms. You just go into the settings and you set the confirmation setting to go to the thank you page. Drop down, that's it. Very, very easy. Now, once you've got that, now just as an example, I've just got this demo account here that I will demo it on for you. So you basically go to your admin panel analytics, go to the goals section, you create a new goal, just go right down to the custom goal setting here. The other stuff you can get more sophisticated with in later, but this is really just to get you started. Give it something relevant, for example, contact form conversion. Set the destination to the actual thank you page. Don't include the front of the URL. If you're fairly advanced and you know the value of a contact form submission is worth $100 for your business, then you can set that revenue target, and that way you can actually go back and start quantifying, is your website actually generating revenue or potential revenue for your business or not, even if that means not actually going in and buying something. If you've got a value for a lead assigned, you can use it and set it in goal tracking and then review it on a week-to-week or month-to-month basis to know what that actual value of your website is returning back to your business. Now, if you're interested in Google Analytics, it's an extremely, like this is a presentation in itself, but the source of truth is what I recommend is the actual Google Analytics Academy by Google. It's totally free, and you can go through and learn practically everything you need to know to really become a data genius. So the next step is, in terms of user experience and user interface, what's some things that you can do, you can implement that can help to increase your website's ability to convert? So number one is making sure that your pathway to conversion is as clear and as simple and as easy as possible. I'd say this is probably the number one thing I see most websites get wrong. For example, if you're running a service-based business, then you want to make sure that that point to get someone to contact you or call is so easy. For example, here's what we do, here's why we do it and why you should care, here's where to go to get in touch with us. You know, you can get a lot of, you see people can get really creative and send them on all of these journeys and everything that makes it very complex and convoluted. Keep it simple, keep it easy. The same if you've got an e-commerce store. Make it as easy as possible for someone to add your item to the cart and to purchase in as least amount of steps possible. Now, making sure that actual next step is clear and obvious. And this will vary depending on your business type. Is it to book a consultation, book a demo? Is it to subscribe? Is it to register? Is it to join us, to buy now? What is that actual action that the user needs to take? And make that very clear. Most conversion gurus will say never ever say or never write contact us as your next step or you contact us on the button. We've tested this on our own site. We got creative with our actual labeling on the buttons, and we found that contact us actually was the highest converting rate button label on our site. It broke all the rules, but that's what I mean. It's all about tracking and measuring it, and that's why I emphasize doing it first, because that way you'll be able to know what works best for your business. And we did so many split tests of everything we could think of, and the good old contact us is the one that converted the best. Number three, making sure you've got one conversion action per page. So sometimes I see websites, it's like they've got ADD. You know, you go on them and they're like throwing all this stuff at you, opt-ins, buttons flying everywhere, and you just don't know where to go. It's confusing. Make that actual process to take the next step as simple as possible. Have one clearly defined call to action or one clearly defined button that then progresses the user through the sales funnel or through to that contact or conversion or buying action. Number four, make the contact information easy and clear. You know, here's an example of a custom machining company, and they do everything very custom to the orders, to the customer's orders. Most of their business is generated through phone calls. Making sure that the phone number is clear and obvious in the header is a no-brainer. Knowing what where your conversions or inquiries are coming from, then making sure the website's design and layout is optimized to making that as clear and as easy as possible for people to get to that point. Make sure your website's mobile friendly. So not only for so many things that I don't have the time to list, mainly from a search engine or search engine optimization point of view and from a usability point of view. Making sure that you run it through the Google Search Console, the mobile friendly test. It'll tell you if it is or if it isn't. If Google will say it isn't, then it'll tell you how to fix it. Particularly true if you're running fairly tight, or how can I say, bricks and mortar style businesses or businesses that have got significant mobile traffic, which you can see through your analytics profile under the devices section. If that's the case, making sure that it's optimized for mobile is key. Of course, one thing as well that I found, and a lot of people go against this, but again, I've tested this for yourself, but making sure that your actual, your call to actions or your opt-ins are above the fold in the page. It's incredible when you start heat mapping and scroll mapping and click mapping what people are doing on sites. It's unbelievable just how lazy people are. You know, the drop-off rate when people start scrolling is insane. So making sure that the actual thing or the button or the opt-in or whatever it is that you want to take, keep it as high up the page as possible so you don't have to make the user scroll or click or move or put effort in to take the next step to converting. Just a couple of things. I did a presentation a while back on what's something called mobile first design. So if anyone has got a site that's, well actually, I want to know this for a fact, who in the room has got or knows if they've got more mobile visitors than desktop visitors coming through their site? Handful of us. Who doesn't know, honestly? But yeah, that's okay. But something that you should consider is what's called mobile first design. If the majority of your traffic coming to your site is from mobile, don't think about it in a big old desktop layout and how to lay it out. Look at it from the mobile viewport and design it that way, and then look at it from tablet, then to desktop. Serve it for where your audience is coming from. Improving speed and reliability, this is a big one. So you can use the Google PageSpeed Insights test to see if your URL or if, your website is considered good performance by Google's eyes. If it's not, then it'll tell you how to fix it. Be careful not to get too carried away with getting 100 out of 100 perfect performance tests. The reason being is, again, you put Google's own web page in it, and it's like 53 out of 100. So, yeah, don't worry, don't get too fastidious about getting a perfect result, but it will give you some good tips on how to make it faster. And what I found is, number one, invest in good performance-focused web hosting. You know, avoid these $3 a month GoDaddy HostGator things where your site, you know, you come back and you go make dinner and you come back and the site's still loading, and then they just break down every second time when it loads. It's unbelievable how, like, the actual economy-based hosts, just how bad they are. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. If someone goes to your website and A, it doesn't load, or B, it takes so long that they leave, they're not going to come back again. I think it was around about 75-ish% Google did a stats review. If that actually happens, they don't come back. They go to your competitors. So making sure you actually invest in good web hosting. If you're running WordPress, WP Engine, what's the other one? It'll come to me. But there's another one. There's really only WP Engine and I think it's Flywheel that I would recommend personally for good performance-focused hosting. Optimize your images. If there's any one thing that I find kills a website's load time, it's the media. Usually it's the images. I wrote a book on how to do this, literally 99 individual steps and descriptions on how to optimize your site, not just from a media point of view, from code and everything. You can get it for free, speed-up-WordPress. Tools that you can get for free that can automate this for you, or will take a lot of it, the actual back-end compression stuff, and do it for you. Handbrake, particularly if you're using video on your site, Handbrake is excellent at optimizing it and getting the file size down. PNG Gauntlet, Image Opt-in, and Image Alpha are all desktop apps that you can basically just chuck your image in, and it'll just strip out all the garbage or the meta, like all the stuff the cameras carry in that you don't see, but they carry all this stuff in it. It'll get rid of all of that, strip the file size down. If you're running WordPress, the EWWW, Image Optimizer, basically automates all of this stuff. You can just tell it to go. It'll go through your images and start compressing them for you on the fly. And finally, compress your website's code and remove unnecessary files. Again, with WordPress, you can use something like W3 Total Cache, which will do a lot of the compression for you. Just make sure you actually turn on the compression options that it has, because they're turned off by default. And if you're using a lot of plugins, think seriously if you actually need the functions or not, or you might just left it there and you forgot about it. Plugins can really sap the site's performance depending on how they're coded. If you're not using it, turn it off. All right, demonstrating proof and credibility. So, probably the best one that really any type of business can use is case studies. So, the work that you've done for your client and your customer, or the product that your customer has bought that's delivered some type of benefit or taken them or solved some type of problem, writing an actual case study about it. Most good web builders, again, I'll use WordPress because that's probably what most of us are using here. Most of these come with a portfolio or case study section built in it. It's just a matter of creating the content and making sure it's benefit and outcome driven. That's the key. Testimonials, obviously this is an easy one. A little hack that I found works really well is when you go and ask your client or your customer for a testimonial, don't just say, hey, give me a testimonial, and usually they probably will get busy and they don't do it. Ask them to actually leave it on your Google reviews or your Google Places listing. So that way you get a little bit of search engine value for the review that's left there, and you can then copy that out, put it up on your website, and you've got like the image already there, all of it, all the hard work's done, and you can repurpose it for your website. Client logos, again, this is fairly obvious, but a couple of tricks that we use is making sure the actual logos that are being used, or your client logos that you're placing there to show that you're a legitimate company with real clients, position them around the call to action areas, or that next step, or that conversion action buttons. So that way it just helps to add in that immediate layer of proof and credibility right when you're asking the user to take action to move on to the next step. Security and trust seal is huge for e-commerce sites, making sure that you've got all your verifications, HTTPS certificates, all that sort of stuff. If you're supporting, if you're processing credit cards, show them what you're doing on it, and making sure it's all safe and secure. And not finally, but content is, so how long is a piece of string question? And great content is difficult. Really what I find is, and the easiest way to create good quality web content, of course being a good wordsmith helps, but you can use tools like Yoast SEO on your WordPress site and not just worrying about, how can I put the keyword in here and here. Flip it over to the readability tab, and interestingly enough, when Yoast brought this out last year, they put readability in front of the keyword optimization because it shows how much good content plays when it comes to not only ranking sites, but their ability to convert as well. And it'll give you good tips, like from a grammatical point of view, if your sentences are really long and technical and hard to read, it'll point them out. It'll actually highlight them to you on your page. If you're not using WordPress, you can use something called Hemingway app, where you just basically cut and paste your content, put it in there, and it'll do more or less the same thing. So making it simple, easy to understand, and more engaging will help to improve your page conversion rates. Awards and recognitions are always good. Again, you can get a bit more strategic and place them around your call to action areas. User-generated reviews, of course, using the trick with Google asking clients and businesses to review it on Google+. You can even output those onto your site, or if you're running, let's say for example, an e-commerce store, asking your customers to be able to review your product, hopefully it's a good review, after they purchase is a really good way to just create that trust and credibility right where you're asking them to buy now or purchase that product, i.e. product page. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, key takeaways. So if you've got an existing website, figure out if you need to spend your time generating traffic to it first. Again, ideally, if you've got about 1,000 people coming to your website a month, like from a conversion rate optimization point of view, you can start testing things and seeing you've got enough people going there to start getting answers back in a reasonable time frame, not having to wait like half a year to know if it's actually valid or not. I'm not going to get into conversion rate optimization science because that's just going to confuse everyone. Again, you can go to like Conversion Excel, those type of blogs, and read all about it if you're really interested in the technical stuff. Making sure that you've got a way to track your website's traffic and conversions, goal tracking. If you've already got analytics, that's the easiest, lowest hanging fruit to do it. Make it clear and simple for your users to get to the point of conversion and take the next step and make it obvious. Having a single, clearly defined conversion action per page, making contact information easy to find, particularly if you're generating a lot of phone call or email type inquiries for your business. Make sure your website is mobile friendly. Consider bringing your opt-ins above the fold, and make sure your website loads fast. And finally, case studies, testimonials, clients, security seals, awards, reviews, and great content is always going to help benefiting your conversion rate and winning new customers. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's presentation. I'm sure you've got a bunch of questions, so let's fire them away. Matt?
Thank you, James.
Pleasure.
Really informative. About the security seals, where on the page exactly would you recommend placing it? Maybe in the footer or near to the Buy Now button?
Absolutely. It goes back to what I was saying when you're positioning the trust elements as close as possible or in the same, when you're looking at it in the screen, the same visible area as that call to action. When it comes to, from an e-commerce site, where you're actually processing that credit card payment or whatever it might be, having the security seals in and around that section on the site is what I found works best from a conversions point of view.
Okay.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
If I had to do one thing out of the 6 or 7 things that you recommended, what would be your top number 1?
Well, I did list these in order of what I thought would have been the most valuable or, in terms of what's going to give you the best return, so to speak. Again, you've got to test and measure everything, but absolutely, case studies is, I can't think of one business that couldn't benefit from actual client case studies. If you really want to milk it, if you can get a video case study, so actually filming like an interview style with the client that's using your product or services, those are the absolute best. But if not, then getting that, creating one yourself and sort of using that as an example would be the #1 thing I would recommend to do, to take away from. Yeah. Any other questions? Go ahead.
I've got a Tesla report back for a performance and speed optimization tool that I used, and the score was only about like 65 or something like that, and particularly low for mobile, for the mobile version, which obviously you're saying is quite important.
Yep.
Is there an easy way to fix that, or is that really a developer sort of?
What platform is your site running on?
WordPress.
WordPress. And it was saying, on the performance review, was saying particularly the mobile speed was
Yeah,
not
like
good.
it's fast for page loading. It had like 2 seconds or something, even 2.5 seconds or something less than that.
Yep.
And score for the desktop, that was around 65 to 70, and then the mobile was like 37 out of 100 or whatever it is. It was pretty low score. So yeah, I use WordPress. So so is that answer?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of what it actually fed back, did it get into any of the specifics, or was it all like gobbledygook development speak?
Well, yeah, I don't quite understand what it's saying. Like it does have a few things there in the report, but nothing can't remember right now. But it's something I don't really know how to do.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Where are you hosting your website?
GoDaddy.
Okay. Is it on their economic plan?
No, they're ultimate hosted, like fully managed WordPress.
Okay. Good. All right. Have you got any performance optimization plugins on your site?
Well,
Anything that's designed to help speed it up?
Yeah, I have been told I've probably got way too many plugins.
Okay.
So with that, do you need to actually remove them, or can you just disable them?
Yeah, well, what I'd actually recommend doing is a pre-step. I didn't put the image in here, but there's a plugin called the P3 Performance Profiler. And you can install that on your site and basically hit go. And then it will spit out a nice pretty pie chart, and it will show you which plugins on your site is causing the most performance burden from top to bottom. And it always helps if you're like, oh gosh, the rev slider is causing 80% of my performance problems. Maybe I should change the slider to just like that static image on the homepage. You know what I mean? That's a good way to, I guess, approach it tactically. What's the name of the theme that you've got running on your site?
It's Genesis child
Okay.
theme.
Yeah. Genesis is well coded. It's a good performing thing. And it sounds like to me that if you've got a lot of plugins, that would be the first place to start. Drop in that P3 performance profiler and see what it returns back, and see if you can, even as an example, turning off the ones that is really hurting your speed, then rerunning it through like the page speed insights or whatever it might be, and see all that report you used generated, and see what the return is of the improvements it generates for you. Pleasure. All right. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen? Jeff?
Yeah, James, good presentation, thanks.
Thank you.
I've heard a lot about abandoned cart. I'm just wondering if there's a plugin or something that can help me define where that occurs.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that I would approach it from actually analytics, not on the website itself. And using a section called behavior flow in analytics, you can see basically the flow of your customers going through from homepage to product page to checkout to payment process to order successful. And if you're seeing then there's a heck of a lot of drop-off on the cart abandonment, and if you already know that, you can go in and, well, I would be looking at it from a holistic point of view, actually testing the process. Is it slow? Is there parts broken on it? Is it not clear to the customer what the next step is on the checkout? Sometimes, again, there's a line that you have to draw with conversion rate optimization, which is you can't optimize a shit product or a shit business. And this catches out so many people, like if the product is well and truly not good, then of course you're going to have huge bounce rates and huge abandonment rates. But again, looking at the analytics, looking at that data, quantifying it, and then going through the process, qualifying it, is things broken, things not where they should be? Is it hard to use? And then how can you fix it would be step number 3. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, the other thing I just remembered was you mentioned before for the number of visitors to your site, if you're getting bots and things like that. I'm getting a lot of the things that's got in the description like Google bots, and I think that I read that that was for the indexing and the crawling of the site.
Yeah.
If I'm getting that quite a lot through the day, like I get little notifications all these times through the day, is that not very good, or is that just normal, or anything?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's, I haven't really got into Google Analytics yet to see how much it comes up on there, but I think that it's making my reports probably not very accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 2 ways you can approach it, and firstly, you can set what's called, let's see if I can get back to that admin page. You can set what's called a filter,
Okay.
and you can basically filter out that Google bot URL that's showing in your analytics profile. So that way you
Will it
just...
be the same every time though? I don't know.
Well, see, this is step 2. I've actually seen this happen a lot recently, where you've got spam bots masquerading as Google bots. Yeah, and they will use, like the URL they use is very close to Google's, but they use it as like a trickery. What you can do is, when you go to that acquisitions page here, and you see that inbound traffic, if you see the actual Google bot URL listed there, you can copy and paste it exactly as you see it, put it into Google, and if it really truly is a spam bot pretending to be a kind of a Google bot, then fortunately enough, it would have been more than likely reported. How long has this been happening for? Or how long have you noticed this for?
Since I've only had this sort of set up there for it to be able to find this out in the last sort of few weeks to a month or
Yeah.
something like that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it well and truly is a spam bot, then as I mentioned, you can go back to your filter section and just create a filter so it doesn't show up in your analytics profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that I get all the time is something that has in the domain amazonnorse.com or something, like Amazon and then naws.com or something like that. And I think that it's to do with like that Amazon Web Services that's advertised up there, but I'm not really
Yep.
sure.
Thank you, Amazon, for sponsoring the event of the beers. But is any of your content on your website served through, or do you know if it's being served through Amazon?
No, I did set that up originally to do that, but then it's since been put onto a different hosting account and
Okay.
things like that, so I don't know if
Yeah.
it's left over from
I heard someone saying something over there. Is that you, Joe? You know what it is, right? You got the answers.
No, not sure. It's
Yeah.
probably just somewhere where it's hosted.
Yeah. Yeah, usually I would say probably more than likely or not, if you've got content, or even sometimes like the actual plugin files can be sitting on AWS on the site, and like if your website then makes the call out to Amazon to pull the files in to make it work, then sometimes that can carry through into your analytics profile. Hopefully it's not something significant or like sizable that you'd have to worry about. But yeah, it can get pretty odd in what you see when you don't have, I guess, a lot of traffic coming through to the site. It'll start just pulling out all of these sort of like function-based deliverables that the site's needing to make in order for it to load and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Is there anything else that you wanted to run by?
Here's the question. If you have multiple websites that you build, for example, if I want to build a website for a company and I'm buying a template, is there a way to figure it out before I even deploy it to know, if it's a good template to use, or sometimes I feel that when I'm building a website when I deploy it, then all of a sudden I see that I have 123 JavaScript calls, and then I'm thinking,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, they say marketers ruin everything, right? Particularly when it comes to the WordPress theme marketplace, because like the whole power seller, mega install them, realizing they're pulling 200 JavaScripts in their header, and it's just like, oh my god, how is this even allowed? Again, I hate to name names, but this is particularly common on ThemeForest if you're buying these power seller themes on ThemeForest. What I would recommend is starting, or really if you wanted to, I guess, have that finite control on making sure the site loads fast and is well built together, built from a framework. Something like Genesis is a great framework where you can start off with and usually have got really stripped down themes that you can essentially add and adjust and modify as need be, as opposed to getting this like whole Ben-Hur thing and you're only using 20% of the actual functionality that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
But yet it's still pulling all the JavaScript for the other 80%, you're not even using it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the other thing to that as well is find one framework that you like and really master it. At Web3, we actually built our own. We weren't really happy with any of them on the market, so we built our own framework, which we build everything off. Operates similar to Genesis. We'll create like a custom child theme for the client, but it's sitting on our own framework that's got all this performance stuff baked in out of the box. Yeah.
Well, I was contemplating to build a theme from scratch so I can control, but
Yeah.
obviously it takes time.
Yeah, it's time consuming, that's for sure. Absolutely. Now you've got to find, I guess, from a client consulting point of view, I'm always, what's the budget for the project? If the budget's there to build a custom thing from scratch, great. If not, then maybe take an existing framework and then build something off the shelf, or just really do your research if you want like a full turnkey theme to make sure that it is well performing, put simply. Yeah. And don't be afraid to ask a refund for ThemeForest for their junk themes. They will pay it. These stuff I will. Oh dear. All right, any other questions?
So in terms of the content writing, do you have any plugins you would recommend other than the Yoast SEO?
Yeah. Well, actually, the ones that I would recommend, I won't pull up, it'll take too long. Chrome, do you use Google Chrome? Firefox?
Yeah, I use Internet Explorer.
Internet Explorer. God save you. No, I'm kidding. There is two ones you can use, which is something called Grammarly. It's nice because with Chrome, it sits in your browser, and spell checks will only read word to word. Grammarly will actually read the words around it and will help you fix any grammar mistakes in it as you go. And the other one I'd recommend is Hemingway. As I mentioned, basically just cut and paste your content into it, and it will highlight it and say, okay, too many adverbs, too wordy, too long. Suggest breaking this up into small sentences. The thing is with web copy or good website copy, it has to be short and punchy, conversational tone, like we're talking here, writing like a theoretical essay. If you want to kill the site's conversion rate on a sales page, that is, that's fine. That really wordy stuff can really make it difficult, but short, concise, to the point, conversational tone. Tools like Grammarly, Hemingway will really help get that style out of you, put simply. No worries. All right, any other questions? Matt? Hello?
Benchmarking.
Yep.
What's your general feeling on the importance of benchmarking your conversion rates against industries, or do you think it's necessary or a good idea?
Well, you've got to benchmark something, right? You've got to have, okay, I'm going from here and I want to go to there.
Well, the other option would be to just continually try and improve.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You might be getting law of diminishing returns.
Exactly. And you will always hit that as well, that proverbial law of diminishing returns, where you just tweaked everything, you've got nothing left to tweak, and then you're tweaking for the sake of tweaking it, and then you're actually setting your conversion rate backwards. I've been there. But yeah, look, hey, if you've got open industry benchmarks available, absolutely. Again, there's just so many nuances that you just got to be careful with in terms of, are they using paid traffic to a landing page that's optimized for that actual search or that Facebook ad? Of course, those things are going to convert much, much higher than purely cold traffic. Purely cold traffic, single-digit conversion rate is totally predictable or understandable. Paid traffic to a specifically optimized landing page, 30% and above. Generally, that's what the kind of range you want to be batting in. But yeah, it's as I mentioned, so many nuances. You just got to be careful with not to get too carried away with what all the others are doing, and then wondering why isn't my cold traffic funnel converting at 50% when their paid webinar funnel is? You know what I mean? The offer as well is so critical. The actual thing that you're telling people to convert on. For example, sign up to a free webinar where blah, 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 blah. Of course, that's going to convert better than just asking someone to inquire. You know what I mean? In most cases, again, test and measure everything. But the offer is very important too. Yeah. Anyone else? Go ahead.
And then one more question. How about pricing of your services for e-commerce sites?
Yeah.
How questionable do you think it is price at the right mark? And then even little tricks like $100, $99, $97.
Yeah. Well, I think you know what I'm going to say, but test it. Actually, the thing that I find the funnest to test is actual service pricing on a website. You can use, I might do one later on, guys, where I'll go into something called Optimizely, which you can do A/B split testing. So you've got your website, and then you say, okay, I've got my 197 product. I want to send 50% of the traffic to this product page for 197, and the other 50% to 297, and then seeing which one converts better. And like that stuff, if you actually get it right, then price, you've significantly increased your revenue just by making one single change. You know, again, the thing you got to be careful with is if it's decreasing the conversion rate so greatly that the increase in price then essentially reduces in less revenue for the business, or less profit, should I say. What was that called? Sorry, Optimizely, yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what I'll do is, let me just pull it up there. Feel free to stick around if you've got more questions. We've got beers, water, coffee, help yourself. All this stuff is free. So go nuts. Thanks to our sponsors, Fishburners and Amazon, for making it happen. What I'll just quickly show you all is we've already got the next meetup booked in for the next Monday of March. So that's March the 6th. And I've got an absolute great friend of mine coming up from Sydney. His name's Cameron. He's worked with the Entourage. He's worked with Business Blueprint. If you've been in business, you've probably heard those guys around. He's been working with them for many years. I've known him for a great long time. He's coming all the way up from Sydney to do a presentation on why you're wasting money on a CRM and how to do something about it. So if you're interested, I guess we talked about MOFU, which is middle of the funnel stuff. So tofu, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel. But MOFU, yes, this is actually the stuff. Bottom of the funnel. So, okay, once you've got someone to convert, how do you nurture them to then get them to repeat by again? This is what this presentation is going to be about. So if you're interested in coming along, please opt in, subscribe, join in. If you enjoyed this meetup, ladies and gentlemen, please share it with your friends. Tell them to come along. Let's make something of this. And of course, any feedback at all, let me know when that little feedback form comes out that meetup will send. If you've got any topics you want to learn about, let me know. We'll make it happen. I really want to make this the very best traffic conversion website meetup in Brisbane by far. So again, thank you so much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to stick around, and I will see you next Monday, March the 6th. Thank you.